Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the Co-Star, the official newspaper of the Borough of Belmar, and the Asbury Park Press on December 11, 2024. A notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building. Take roll call. Councilwoman Donovan?
This is gonna screech. Here.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Here.
Mayor Buckafusco?
Here.
Councilwoman Rondinero?
Here.
Councilman Levis?
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our troops, their families, first responders, and also passing of the longtime Belmar resident, Patrick O'Donnell. Thank you. Okay, tonight, I believe we're going to start off with a workshop discussion on our roads and infrastructure projects that are in process of being completed now, working on, and what we have planned for the future. So I'm going to turn that over to who's doing it.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a presentation, so we'll put the projector up, and if you guys want to stay up here or go down there, it's up to you.
Yeah, wherever we want to go.
All right, so today we're going to talk about, as the mayor said, just some of the infrastructure projects that have been completed, what's in progress, and what's planned for the future. Some of the projects we have planned for the future are a little more concrete than others, but we just want to give you a brief overview so you can sort of see, I hear a lot of questions, when's my road getting paved, or when is this getting fixed? So we just wanted to give a brief outline sort of to show everyone in the public what's going on and when they can have sort of expectations for when these projects are going to get started and when they're going to be completed. So we'll talk about sort of the mission that we have for infrastructure and why we're doing it. We'll look at the current problems we're facing. We'll look at the completed projects, current projects, and future projects. So our overall mission is to enhance the quality of life for Belmar residents by ensuring our infrastructure is strong, resilient, and accessible for all. That's pretty clear cut. That's what a lot of towns are trying to do, and that's what Belmar is trying to do for you. Our vision is to update the water and sanitary and storm sewer infrastructure, pave roads, and maintain a visually appealing and resilient infrastructure built for a growing Belmar. Obviously, we know our town is getting older. Our infrastructure is aging, so we need to be able to maintain that and make sure it's kept up to date. So what are some of the problems we're facing right now? We haven't had significant sewer updates since 2011. We have a lot of inflow and infiltration. You'll hear that term a lot, I&I, in our sanitary sewer system. And what this does is actually causes surcharging, which is overflowing of the system, and it leads to us paying higher rates to our regional sewer authority, because we pay based on the amount of flow that we send to that plant. So if we're sending more water to the plant, we end up spending a lot more money. Again, the sanitary sewer system hasn't been upgraded in decades, neither has the stormwater system. The water mains in the borough are about 50 years old. Some of them are cast iron and need to be replaced. We also have galvanized or lead service lines that have to be replaced according to the state by 2031. And again, if you've driven around town, you've seen that there are some roads that experience significant potholes, cracks, and just sort of deteriorated pavement that's not in good shape. So when I talk about inflow and infiltration, this chart is a little bit of an eyesore, but the blue line you're seeing in that spike is a significant rainfall event that we had in May of 2018. We received about 3 inches of rain in one day. And when we saw that spike, you'll see the red line next to it is actually the flow in million gallons per day that Belmar sent to Monmouth Regional Sewer Authority. So there's a significant increase in the amount of rainwater that we're sending to a sewage treatment plant to be processed. And the sewage treatment plant doesn't care if it's rainwater, it just cares how much water is coming through that pipe and going to the system. So you can see we're paying a much larger portion than a lot of the other surrounding towns for our sewer service, just because of the amount of inflow and infiltration we have in that system. Next, I'm going to talk about some of the projects that have been completed. If we look at the Belmar Marina, we had significant replacements to the electrical services at JK&L dock. We just replaced the fuel dock, which was a big project since we're the only fuel dock in all of Shark River. We replaced around 27 pilings in the marina, which was significant because it allowed us to now charge full rate for those slips that had been getting a discount. And in 2026, we're going to be replacing some of the damaged T-heads on the ends of the docks. Inlet Drive was recently paved, and that was finalized at the end of 2022. They did the sanitary sewers and the roads in that section. Piano Plaza, ADA access. This was done with a community development block grant to improve ADA accessibility around Piano Plaza. Then we have the Lake Como walking trail. This was completed with a Monmouth County Open Space grant. And this was just the Belmar portion of the walking trail. If you recall, there was the Lake Como portion that had been done, and Belmar finally finished this portion now. The other big step we undertook was to inventory and prioritize what projects we're going to do. So our engineers took a very big job of basically looking and mapping every single road, every single sewer line, every single water service line, every single sanitary sewer line, and grading it based on its serviceability. So you should see some handouts that were out there before. They're a little small. This chart's still a little small too, but we will zoom in on some of the projects so you can see where it is. But what you should understand from this chart is we prioritized which roads were in bad shape, and we graded them on color code. We also graded the sewer lines and the piping that was underneath. The idea being that we don't want to repave a road if the sewer or water main is very bad underneath. So we kind of prioritize some of the projects being what needs to be done right away. That way they can get finished and they can get paved over versus having to open up the road again to do a project 2 years from now. So next we're going to look at the current projects we have underway. Right now we have 5th and Main to C Street. This is underway right now. This is done through a New Jersey Department of Transportation grant we got in 2023. And this project involves the sanitary sewer, storm sewer, water mains, and the road. Next up is 14th Ave to Ocean Ave. This is another 2024 Department of Transportation grant that we got, and this is going to be water mains and the road between B Street and Ocean Ave. One of the more significant ones is going to be 8th Ave to Main Street, 8th Ave, Main Street to Ocean Ave. This is where our main sewer line runs that takes most of the sewage down towards Ocean Avenue and then to the South Monmouth Regional Sewer Authority. This is the biggest line we have in the system, and this is subject to a lot of I&I. And unfortunately, what happens is when this line gets backed up, it backs up everything else down the line. So we'll be lining the sanitary sewer system in this section and doing water mains. This should significantly improve a lot of the sewer systems downstream. Paving for this road is going to come after this work is done, sometime around in 2027. And coming spring of next year, we have 8th Ave and Belmar Plaza pedestrian safety improvements. This is done through a Transit Village grant we got. This is going to be improvements to pedestrian sidewalks and ADA access around 8th Avenue. Looking ahead, South Lake Drive, we're looking for this in fall of 2026. This is a NJDOT grant again, and this is going to be storm sewer repairs and road paving. Another big one is 13th Avenue from Main Street to L Street. This will include L Street, K Street, and 14th Avenue in this section of town. This will be done through a I-Bank application we're hoping to submit in 2025. This will be sanitary sewers, storm sewer, water mains, and the roads. So you know this section of town is pretty bad. It's very low lying, so we do have a lot of I&I in these areas as well, so improvements here should help with our overall flow rate that we're sending to the sewer authority. Next, we have 14th Avenue from E Street to B Street. This will be another I-Bank application, and this will include water mains and road paving as well. Next, we have the other portion of 5th Avenue from C Street to Ocean Ave. This will be late 2029. We're planning to do this. Again, we're looking to do this through an NJDOT grant. Water mains and paving will be the scope of this project. Further on, we're looking at 4th Avenue, basically from Ocean Ave to the lake. This will be, again, water mains and paving of the road. 3rd Avenue, late 2029, we're looking to do, again, water mains and paving of the road. I mean, you'll see this, if you can see it on your map, the tan yellowish sections are the roads that are in the worst condition. Green being good, blue being slightly less, purple being poor, and the tan yellow being the worst. Next, we have late 2030, we're looking at 7th Avenue from Main Street to North Lake Drive. Again, water mains, sanitary sewers, and paving. Also in late 2027, we're looking to do another I-Bank application this year to refurbish and paint the water tower, which is in desperate need of, it still has the old Belmar logo on it. So this is a project that will be, I'm sure everyone will be very happy to see completed. And just for reference on what the I-Bank is, it's essentially an independent organization within the state that provides funding for municipalities to do these types of infrastructure projects. So in some cases, there could be total loan forgiveness for some of the projects. In other cases, you get very, very, very good interest rates on these projects. So it's a great tool for the municipality to use to be able to get funding for these applications. So we're not only relying on our capital improvement funds for these projects. And that's all I have. If we have any questions from the council on any of these projects, we have Jim Orsis, who's our borough engineer as well, who's able to answer any questions we might have. Go ahead, Jody.
Just because I live on 10th Avenue, what about those streets right in the middle there, 10th, 9th, 11th, some of the other purple roads?
Yeah, I can't see on this map. Yeah.
So I'm assuming later, after 2030, we're gonna.
Yeah, we tried to build out a plan as much as possible, accounting for as many details as we could. A 10-year plan can be hard to keep sometimes because things happen in 10 years. So these are projects we have planned based on what we think we can afford based on our capital budget. So we'll continue to add, this is something that should be revisited every year, so we can continue to add projects down the line. When this gets done, it shouldn't just be, mission accomplished. This should be a document and a process that continues year after year. So as we take projects off, we add new projects on. Good. All right, that's all I have.
Thank you.
I also want to thank Councilwoman Donovan and Jim Orsis for helping me put this presentation together.
Yeah, I just spoke with the council members here. I think it makes sense to, even though this is a workshop, to since then we have the information here and we've just seen it, to open up to the public for comment and questions. All right, so if anybody would like to speak on this now, just come up, state your name and address, and we'll try to help you out.
Anita Buckley, First Avenue. Where are the lead lines that need to be replaced?
On the chart, I don't think.
Yeah,
The green dots.
They're the little green dots.
Little green dots.
Do you
Yeah,
have
on
those?
the chart.
And are they, are scheduled to be replaced, or are they one of the projects?
Yeah, we have to have them all replaced by 2031.
Okay.
Anita, do you want to use?
Good.
Okay.
And then what were the black dots?
The black, those are the ones that have already, those are not,
They're
or is the other one around?
galvanized, were they the galvanized? Oh, no, galvanized.
Green is
lead.
galvanized, black is the lead.
Green is galvanized,
Yeah, just so you know, there are two types of pipes that have to be removed. There are the lead pipes and there are galvanized pipes. For example, I have galvanized pipes going into my house because it's like 100 years
So
old.
small, okay.
But that's why the different colors on the dots.
Gotcha.
That they have to be removed by 2031. Next.
Yeah, look, Neil Scheck, 4th Avenue. I didn't see on the inventory, there was no mention of the electric lines or the communications phone lines. And as a former member of the Shade Tree Commission, I learned how we will never have a beautiful, healthy suburban canopy until we put the wires underground where they belong. And I could go on at length about that, but I think it should be apparent to everyone that if the wires are underground, the whole town looks better, and the trees are allowed to grow and shade everyone, which is good, not just for, doesn't just look good to have a healthy tree canopy. There are many advantages, reducing flooding, for instance, improving the air quality. And you can have it as long as the wires are there, because the electric company has legal priority over our trees. They can cut back our trees as much as they want to make way for their electric lines. So the lines need to go underground to have the best Belmar that we can have. And any time that the streets are being opened, it's a lost opportunity if we're not using that to put the wires underground. So I thought I would comment tonight while you have your experts on hand in case they have anything they want to say that my idea is hopeless, it can never happen, because it would sure make Belmar better if the wires were underground.
Thank you. I mean, I agree with you, but as you said, we don't have control over those wires. The stuff that we presented tonight are the things that the borough has direct control over. The sewer system, the water system. We can't unfortunately tell JCP&L that they need to put their lines under the ground. I mean, I'm correct with that, right? I mean, there's no way the borough can mandate. We do have an ordinance,
I just want to ask, is that a matter for state legislation then?
This was supposed to be about
I just want to ask
infrastructure.
if it's a matter for me to refer to my state legislators.
Yes,
Thank you.
but, the thing is, it would be great to have everything underground, and we have an ordinance that requires new construction, that the lines to the homes be underground, but they're still coming out to a pole somewhere along the street, so that's to answer your question, but
Thank you.
yeah, we don't have authority over that to do that. Any other questions? Mr. Greenman?
Eugene Greenwood, 4th Avenue. Just a quick question about lead water lines. Is the town, the cost associated there, to that replacement of those lines, is the borough going to pick up the cost of the so-called service lateral that goes from the street to the home, or is that the homeowner's responsibility?
I'll let our engineer tell you.
Thank you. So that's a very good question. One of the things that we've been working with the borough on and with Public Works on is with regards to not only the costs associated with lead service lines, but the process. So one of the other IBank applications that we're going to be applying for is for lead service line, lead and galvanized service line replacement. And through that program, we'll be able to leverage IBank money, which provides principal forgiveness. So in those instances, I would expect that it would be done at no cost to the homeowner. But if it's not an IBank project, currently as it's Fifth Avenue, the borough's replacing the line because we're doing the project, and we don't want to have the road ripped up afterwards. So the service lines, all of them, if they're old, are being replaced to behind the sidewalk, and then they'll tie into the property owner's service. We're going to be notifying those property owners that the service has been replaced at that point, and we're going to suggest to them that they may want to consider a project in the future. But we're not going to be replacing that service line to the house at that time, because the service lines are technically owned by the property owner from the main to the house in accordance with the borough ordinance. That help?
Yes, it does. It's just that I think many people have been approached by their homeowner's insurance company to bump up their policy to pay for the replacement of either water lines or sewer lines, and the prices are all over the place. That's the reason I'm bringing the question up. My water line is copper, so I shouldn't have that problem. But, I know somebody across the street has lead lines, lead or galvanized steel, and these were seasonal people. And if you have one iron pipe in your neighborhood that comes off of that same water main, if that house is unoccupied and people are not drawing water from the borough's water system, it can really mess up your laundry. You will get rust stains on when you try to wash white clothes, especially work shirts. So that's why I'm asking about the lead and galvanized pipes. And
Well, as our engineer said, the streets that are being opened, like for now on Fifth Avenue, they are replacing them to the curb. And then it's up to the homeowner to take it the rest of the way if they wish. So,
okay, that's it. I just wanted to bring that up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we get two questions? Anita Buckley, First Avenue. I'm sorry for my ignorance, but the lead lines say on 9th and 10th, there's massive amounts of them. And like Dr. Kenny said, those are not in any major projects. So I don't understand, when would those lead lines be? Is there another set of projects set up where those lead lines are going to be looked at? Or am I completely confused?
I'll let the engineer
Hi, how are you?
speak to that.
So when we apply to IBank, we're going to be applying for a townwide lead service line replacement, and it'll be phased out over years. And we're going to marry that replacement with the infrastructure plan that the councilman put forward. So you'll notice a lot of the planned paving projects or projects that are hatched are areas where you see many green or black dots representing a lead or a galvanized service. So it's going to be a continued approach as we move through town. Take advantage of IBank funding for the lead service line replacement, where we can get principal forgiveness, and also get IBank funding for the balance of the projects, which include low interest loans. So that map that you have there now is forecasted into 2030, 2031. There'll be future projects, as the councilman said. we're gonna continue to develop and improve the roads as we go forward. And that's all dependent upon available funding and grant funding that we can get, okay?
Okay, so, excuse my ignorance, but you're saying these major projects are covered and the lead lines again, but unlike 9th and 10th, so there's no mention of like 9th and 10th, and these projects are already out to 2030, and we need to replace them by 2031. So are you saying we're going to create another sub-project and work along with these other major projects that he presented?
There
or-
is another major project, which would be for the lead service line replacement.
Okay, all right, I think I got it now, thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, let's move on with the rest of the workshop. Does anyone have anything else they would like to say? Since we're talking about traffic and notice and streets and whatever, just want to let everybody know that the Main Street Bridge is obviously going to be inoperable very soon. The closure that the state has advised us of is from October 14th, 2025 to February 27th, 2026. Okay, the goal, I'll say the goal, but it will be operational by St. Patrick's Day parade. So they know that that has to happen, so I'm confident they will, but let's see how it goes. But that's the word we're getting from the Department of Transportation on that. And I think that's it for me right now. Any other workshop issues?
I was just going to also add to that infrastructure, the boardwalk. So you successfully got the $1.5 million grant for the bathroom at 16.
Right.
And I know I spoke to Mr. Musto today about the railings going in, and that should be by the end of the year on the boardwalk. I know a lot of people were asking about that as well.
Yeah. And let's not forget the bathroom that we created, the year-round bathroom. Correct. On the other, in Taylor Pavilion, as another project. There have been many little projects that we don't have really time to go through, but a lot has been done throughout the town to help make things better for everyone. So these are the major things. No other workshop issues, then I guess we'll move on to petitions.
Mayor, I did not receive any petitions.
Okay. Approval of minutes.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the September 9th meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Councilman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilman McKinney?
Abstain.
Mayor Buckfusco?
Yes.
Councilman Rondenero?
Yes.
Councilman Levens?
Yes.
Okay, reports of council. Councilman Donovan.
First, I want to thank everyone we had two beautiful 9/11 memorials, one over at the BHA and one down on the boardwalk, and thank you to everyone involved. They're always deeply meaningful and a real show of the community we have here in Belmar. Thank you also to our staff, DPW, the police department, and our honorees, and of course to Father Ed and everyone at St. Rose for the Centenarian Festival and the beautiful mass there that day. The Harbor Commission is working on a review of our rates for next year and consulting with experts to authorize a system that's transparent, predictable, and fair. Thank you to everyone working very hard at that. The Environmental Commission is working very hard on their grant work. We are meeting this Thursday with the Army Corps of Engineer on the Silver Lake Planning Grant. I have been meeting with the coalition concerned with the Sharp River. We are applying for a grant through the Resilient New Jersey Regional Planning Grant. That's on a team with Neptune, Wall, Avon, Neptune City, along with Monmouth University's Urban Coast Institute, the American Littoral Society, and under the auspices of the county, along with the Sharp River Cleanup Coalition. So I want to especially thank members of our Environmental Commission and DPW for sitting down with me for a very long time as we walk through that grant application. A couple other quick things around town. September 24th, we have Senior Ones and Handsome Devil Car Show. The 26th, we have the Friends of the Poor Walk that's through the St. Vincent de Paul Society. And on a separate note, there are a lot of people going through really hard times here, and I know I, for one, love giving for organizations that provide direct services. And if you're looking for something local that's helping people here in need, please consider donating to St. Vincent de Paul Society. They do really, really great work. September 27th and 28th is our town yard sale. And on September 27th as well, the Environmental Coalition, along with Candide's Garden, will be doing a sustainable landscaping workshop at down Taylor Pavilion. Please check that out. And finally, with the Belmar Women's Club, there will be a fall craft show at Taylor Pavilion. And tomorrow, please go to check out the fundraiser at Jersey Mike's. 20% of all sales go to the Belmar Women's Club, and you can also use code JMGives on the app. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Kinney?
Thank you so much. I was disappointed I missed San Gennaro Festival this year. I did hear great things about that whole weekend, the Mass and the festival and the 9/11 tribute. I was at the University of South Carolina for Parents Weekend, which was very interesting, but I was sorry to have missed that. So around recreation, basketball sign-ups, registrations are happening now for K through 8-year grade kids. Youth Club is back, starting November 8th, Saturdays, grades 3 through 5 from 5 to 6:30, Saturday evenings, grades 6 through 8 from 7 to 8:30, so sign up for Youth Club. And this year's Trunk or Treat in Belmar is going to be at Dempsey Park on October 24th. That's a Friday night at 5, starting at 5 p.m. So come out and register your car and your costumes. Shade Tree Commission, there's been many new permits to get rid of hazardous trees in town, 22 new ones, and we have over 70 permits awarded to date. So a lot of those bad looking and hazardous trees are coming down. And Shade Tree is also embarking on a program to update some of the trees along Main Street, including 5 new trees to be planted this fall between 10th and 12th Avenues. And we'll continue to be planting more through the spring. They will also be adding fertilizer spikes to all the trees in the upcoming months, to all the trees on Main Street, which is great too. And lastly, we have the skate park fundraiser. I'm sorry I don't have flyers, but flyers will be circulating here. I'm going to get them over to the library and into all the schools. Our fall fundraiser, Shred Fest, this year is on October 11th. It's an all-ages event from 1 to 5 p.m. at Bar A. There's going to be prizes, giveaways, 50/50s, bands. It's going to be really fun, so bring the whole family out to our Shred Fest event, raise money for the skate park. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Council President Rondinero.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for announcing Patrick O'Donnell's passing. Patrick was a neighbor of mine, longtime Belmartian. He loved all things Irish, especially music, and his time at the Shillelagh Club. He was always chatting me up for ideas for the borough, and I passed along his last one for needing to replace our caution children at play to our DPW superintendent, Billy Musto, and Captain Campbell this evening. So thank you for that in advance. The Belmar Public Library, we had 550 locals come out on the library lawn at 10th and E last Thursday with the end of the summer concert with the Pat Roddy Band. Most of us were there, and the residents took the time to thank us, and a lot of people were concerned that those concerts wouldn't remain at the library, and we're very happy to see that they were doing so well right there in the lawn. The next big event for the library is our Hispanic Heritage Cultural Celebration. That's Tuesday, September 30th at 6 p.m. at the Taylor Pavilion. Get ready to dance and party with music by the Rapa Boys and refreshments by Sanjo Ceviche. Please register online at belmarlibrary.com or call the library directly if you need help registering. The Belmar Housing Authority had their 5-year plan meeting last Tuesday. Bid openings for the repair facade will be October 23rd at 1 p.m. And the wait list for apartments is now closed. It's been closed as of September 19th. Lastly, I'd like to thank Jenna Van Nest for helping with the San Gennaro Fest and organizing it. This was her first this year, and that's a large job, so I thank her for that. And our honorees and the PTO for putting on the spaghetti dinner to honor our honorees. And I was informed that $300 was raised towards the Belmar Skate Park for the cannoli eating contest. So if you go to Federici's, go and say hello to Antonio and say, thank you.
And thank you, Lena, from Sweet, for doing that for
Yes,
us. Thank you so much, Lena.
Absolutely. Lastly, our Hometown Hero banner program opens again for the 3rd year in a row. You can find the application form online on our website, our Facebook page, or you can come in and fill out a paper form in the office. If you have a Belmar veteran or active duty military member and you'd like to commemorate them with a banner on Main Street, this is your chance. As always, if you know someone who should be commemorated, who's unable to afford the $100 banner, please let me know and we will find a sponsor. All of us up here have had the privilege of sponsoring a banner for a Belmar veteran. The deadline to submit an application is October 7th, so you'll see it posted a lot from here in the next 2 weeks. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Levis?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to announce that, again, San Gennaro was a blast. I did not win the cannoli contest, unfortunately, next year. Sunday, September 28th, is the Run for the Fallen is going to be coming through Belmar down Ocean Ave. This is a run that honors New Jersey's fallen service members. So if you can come down around 9 o'clock, come out to Ocean Ave, wave an American flag, be a really good thing to do. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, and I would like to once again announce the borough, along with the Borough of Avon, we are sponsoring a small business grant and resource workshop on October 7th, 2025, from 9 to 11:30 a.m. at the Taylor Pavilion. And there are flyers that are out or will be going out soon. Jenna Van Ness and Kathy Guzman are going to be here on Thursday, and they're going to go to the businesses and actually hand them the flyers to remind them. The whole idea is for them to find out about grants and resources for small businesses. There will be people there from the NJEDA, the New Jersey Business Action Center, the New Jersey, SBDC at Brookdale Community College. So it's really an opportunity for businesses who may have any questions or want to see what's out there that could help them to do that. So that's coming up. It was, this is not my time. October 7th, 2025. 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. The other thing I'd like to say, going back to the infrastructure, number one, they're doing it on 5th Avenue. They started on the block right in front of my house. If you want to see, infrastructure improvements in action, you should stop by, because it's quite a project, and they just started replacing the sewer line, and I found out that, and of course, it's interesting because it's like you're digging for treasure, and every once in a while they stop, and when you see like 3 guys hovering over a hole, there's something not right. So I think they found a water line that they didn't know was there, and the other day they found a gas line that they didn't know was there, or JCP&L didn't know it was there, or the NJ Gas. So it's quite interesting, but they have it kind of like down to a science in terms of what they do. And I found out that it's a process. Like the sewer line is being replaced. I was told today that the homes on my side of the street will be connected, and then they're going to go back at some point and connect the homes on the other side of the street. But it's my understanding there are 2 old sewer lines there, and there's probably 2 old water lines there. So it's kind of like, digging, but, being very careful with what you're doing. But they're doing a great job, and it's just 7 o'clock in the morning they must start, because I hear that truck going right on the dot, 7 o'clock. So you get used to it after a while. But I think the neighbors have been good about it. Everybody's learning to park their cars off onto the side streets, because especially in this part, there's a lot of trucks going back and forth and whatnot, and if you have little kids that like tractors and stuff and want to see them, I suggest that you stop over there. There's all kinds of tractors and construction things, and they'll have a blast just looking at them. More seriously, though, I think one of the major accomplishments for our infrastructure has been the production of this map. And this is something that will be valuable for the borough for many, many years to come. And even though, you know, projects might change, or they might be rescheduled, or we might add projects or whatever, this is a resource that, you know, we didn't have. And this is something that, you know, is really a tremendous accomplishment. So, you know, I thank Mr. Kane and our engineer, Jim Morris, for working on this, and, you know, we're really trying to get a handle on how we can improve these things. And hopefully we'll get the IBank monies so that we can even do more. But, you know, it's something that'll be here for the future. Hopefully we'll put it out on the website so everybody will know that it's here and they can look at it whenever. That's all I have. Let's go to, I guess, public session.
If anyone has a comment or question about a resolution on the agenda, please step forward, state your name and address. Okay, seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public session?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt the resolutions as listed on the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second?
Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckafusco?
Yes.
Councilman Rondanero?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
Okay, next is ordinances. First one is ordinance 2025-21. This is an ordinance approving the application for a long-term tax exemption and authorizing execution of a financial agreement. This ordinance is open for public comment. Okay, seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-21?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckafusco?
Yes.
Councilman Rondanero?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
Next is second reading and public hearing of ordinance 2025-10. This is an ordinance amending and supplementing the Borough Code to add section 40-7.34 entitled Affordable Housing Mandatory Set-Aside Requirement. This is open for public hearing if anyone would like to speak on the ordinance.
Mr. Kramer? Oh, get to the mic.
Eugene Creamer, 4th Avenue. Let's see, 2025-10, this is affordable housing mandatory set-aside requirement. The third, whereas the borough has determined that enacting a borough-wide mandatory set-aside ordinance to ensure that any site that benefits from rezoning, variance, or redevelopment plan approved by the borough or the borough's planning board that results in a multi-family residential development shall comply with the set-aside requirements. Actually, this and all the other two ordinances tonight are silent with respect to the Belmar Zoning Board of Adjustment. In other words, the way I read this, if you go to the Zoning Board of Adjustment to get approval of a 24-unit luxury condominium or luxury condominiums on 2nd Avenue, and you go to the Zoning Board of Adjustment, you have no obligation to provide affordable housing. Is that the intent here?
Well, I'm looking at the first sentence, and it says that this set aside ordinance to ensure that any site that benefits from rezoning, well, in essence, if you're going before the zoning board, they're in essence rezoning that property. So they would be subject to the set aside, at least that's the way I'm reading it.
Excuse me, zoning board of adjustment does not approve rezoning. That's the purview of the.
It says also variance, so the zoning boards do variances.
Correct.
So it says ensure that any site that benefits from variance that results in a multifamily development of 5 or more is subject to this. So I think that covers any decision by the zoning board. You see that in the second sentence of the whereas? It's to ensure that any site that benefits from rezoning, variance, or redevelopment plan approved by the borough or the borough's planning board that results in multifamily development.
Yeah, by the borough or the borough's planning board.
Well, I don't.
The zoning board of adjustment is not the borough, and it's not the borough's planning board.
But they still, I think you still have to go by what the variance, the fact that it says it's a variance. I mean, it could be maybe more clear saying that it's coming from the zoning board, but I think it's
No, it
it's
clearly,
clear.
Mayor, it clearly says, approved by the.
I don't think you even need that, to be honest with you. I think I could cross that out and say variance or redevelopment plan, and then just say that results in a multi-family residential development of 5 or more. I think that the verbiage that said by the borough or the borough planning board is really, it's not even necessary in that sense. But I'm not gonna.
Mayor, we're talking about
I'm not gonna.
whereas clauses, right?
What's that?
We're talking about whereas clauses in the resolution?
Yeah.
Well, they're not gonna control anything anyway. It's the
Okay, yeah, we
ordinance.
have our legal opinion.
It's the ordinance that controls.
We have that explained, just so.
Yeah, can you just expound on that so we all understand?
Right, it's the content of the ordinance. The whereases are nice to have in the ordinance that you are adopting, because it gives the reasons why you're doing what you're doing. But the codification, those whereases aren't codified in our ordinances. So it's the ordinance itself that would control, and not the whereases. Later on, when people look at what they can and cannot do, they will not go to the whereases.
I think to answer Mr. Kramer's question, we need to go down to section 1. And if you look at the first paragraph, that talks about the borough or the borough's planning board, if they permit the construction of a multifamily or single-family attached residential development, the planning board shall require appropriate percentage of the residential units be set aside for very low, and moderate households. But then if you go down also to, where did I see the one? This requirement does not create any entitlement for a property owner or applicant to a zoning amendment, variance, or adoption. So in other words, the requirement for the set aside, it doesn't give you the authority to get a variance.
That's correct, and I agree with you, Counselor, that the whereas is not actually get codified. But under section 1, you mentioned, Mayor, it says, if the borough or the borough's planning board, that's exclusive. That is either the borough or the borough's planning board. The ordinance is silent with respect to the zoning board of adjustment. And
well, the question I have is, can the zoning board of adjustment, and this is for our lawyers, can the zoning board of adjustment say that through their action that the developer or someone trying to build something is not subject to this ordinance? That's the real question. In other words, can they permit the construction of a multifamily or single-family attached residential development without requiring the percentage for the set-aside? That's the question I think Mr. Kramer's asking.
That's correct.
Right.
In other words, go to the zoning board of adjustment, you can avoid all this, the way it's written.
McManaman, Scotland, Belmar, redevelopment council to the borough. I think section B addresses the issue regarding it's all encompassing. This requirement shall apply to any multifamily or single family attached residential development, including the residential portion of a mixed use project, which consists of 5 or more new residential units, whether permitted by a zoning amendment, a variance granted by the borough's planning board, or adoption of a redevelopment plan or amended redevelopment plan in areas in need of redevelopment or rehabilitation. So I think for the question, as far as the zoning board, that would be covered by a zoning amendment.
Yeah, but the zoning board has no authority to change the borough zoning. They have the authority to grant variances, but not to change the zoning.
I guess my question is, and it shows a little bit of my lack of knowledge about the zoning board, is if somebody's building something, why would they go before the zoning board? Isn't the process to go before the planning board?
Well, for instance,
Is there a situation where I can apply to build a 10-unit structure, go before the planning board, and then somehow after that go to the zoning board and say, well, now I don't want to be subject to the set aside?
No, you could in any one of our residential zones where we don't permit multifamily, you could make an application for multifamily, and you would be in front of the zoning board of adjustment because you need a use variance. So you wouldn't have to be before the planning board in that circumstance.
I have a member of the zoning board who might want to. Why don't you just say your name and all that.
Barry Lubin, 15th Avenue, and also the zoning board. We on the zoning board come up with these questions about legality all the time. Would it not be easier to word in there? One example would be the ongoing 12th Avenue. That was zoning board, and that is a 24-unit or thereabouts condominium building that is, I believe it's okay for me to say, because it's gone to the Supreme Court of the state. Wouldn't it be easier here, everywhere it says borough, planning board, put in zoning board? Because we do have the authority to see in the, planning board sees in the redevelopment zone, Seaport, all that, but in the residential areas, we see it. So, bless you.
Thank you.
Not being an attorney, but I just think it would be easier if you just wrote borough, planning board, and zoning board, because we are a separate entity. And we will, at one point, come up with something with 10 to whatever units that minimum is.
It's 5 units.
It's 5 units,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can picture one in my head
Yeah.
that's gonna come to us at some point, and there's gonna be more, that are gonna come to us at the zoning board. So the simplicity again is just add the zoning board to that, because we don't issue amendments, we issue C and D variances.
Thank you for that, yes.
Okay?
Yeah, I mean, certainly the council can consider amendment on the record this evening for wherever the ordinance reads borough or the borough's planning board to add, or the zoning board of adjustment.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm reading this, I think part of the confusion also is the term zoning amendment. I don't know exactly what that means. Part of me thinks that really means a variance, from the zoning board. But it also says variance, so I don't know what a zoning amendment is.
You don't want any attorney making a clever argument, so it's better safe than sorry. I would recommend the amendment to include the zoning board.
No, I agree.
Yeah. I read zoning amendment as something that the planning board and or the borough approves after that.
All right, so from the way I'm reading it is reference to the borough or the borough's planning board will also include borough's zoning board of adjustment, if that's the correct term for it, and the borough's planning board. We can proceed. We can proceed with that.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with proceeding. I don't think think it changes the intent of the ordinance in any way, it's simply clarifying.
Okay, so anywhere in the ordinance, even in the whereas, where it says the borough or the borough's planning board will include the borough's zoning board of adjustment.
Well, we don't need to amend the whereas. Just what's going to be codified, because that's what's going to be in the ordinance, and that is what is going to control.
Do we need to have some kind of an agreement on that first, or is that just part and parcel of approving the part of the ordinance?
Adopted as amended.
Okay. Okay, I guess we're at the point where are there any more comments? Yes.
Yeah, Gene Kramer, 4th Avenue. Condition B under section 1.
Same ordinance?
Same ordinance. Yeah, this is 2025-10. It says, for all inclusionary projects, the appropriate set-aside percentage shall be 20%, or a minimum of 1 unit. The affordable housing plan for so-called Mediterranean project, that required, I think the final number was 20 built, 10 paid for, or 30 affordable housing units, and 198 were to be built, total number of apartments. That's closer to 15%. Now, this is being written for the general public now, regulating the general public. Aren't we entitled to equal treatment under the law, by federal law, 14th Amendment? Everybody's supposed to be treated equal. Now, why is some outfit getting away with 15%, whereas every other property owner in town is going to be mandated 20%?
I'll let you answer that.
These are for all projects going forward as of the effective date. Those projects that you're referring to, the Repenny project and other projects that have been approved by council and with agreements and settlement agreements executed, those will not be impacted by the requirements of this ordinance. So those projects were negotiated as part of settlement agreements, which were part of the borough's declaratory judgment action to satisfy their third round housing obligation. So those have already been resolved and settled before this ordinance went into effect. Anything moving forward will be subject to this ordinance.
In other words, everything in town now will be required to come up with a 20% set aside, either by building or paying.
Any project that has 5 units or more, yes.
Okay. Gee, how did we negotiate down from 20% to 15%? In other words, that agreement was a bad agreement.
Previously, before, traditionally, it's been a 15% set aside for rental units and a 20% set aside for sale units. The borough's taking an aggressive approach by making it 20% across the board to address affordable housing obligations. But traditionally, it has been 15% set aside for rental units.
Okay.
Have any other comments?
Okay, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-10 as amended?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckfusco?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rondero?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
Next is second reading and public hearing on ordinance 2025-11. This is an ordinance amending chapter 40, article 5, zoning districts, creating an overlay zone. This is open for public hearing. If anyone wants to comment on the ordinance?
I have the microphone. Eugene Creamer.
I'm going to give you your own microphone.
Eugene Creamer, 4th Avenue. Let's see, I'll just cut to the chase here. This is the creation of an overlay district along Main Street or F Street. Please go down to mixed use overlay A, purpose. The purpose of the MU-0 zone is to allow for a combination of mixed uses along Main Street with frontage from 5th Street to 16th Street. Can you please change that to avenues?
Yeah, I already mentioned that last week. We did this.
Okay. Section B, it says here, under B1A, which starts residential, commercial on ground level. The last sentence, it says all housing units shall be 2 and 3 bedroom units. Can you please change and to or?
Will do.
I have a general question about this. Have any property owners been provided notice about this overlay district, that their properties are now, was there any notice provided?
It doesn't, to my knowledge, so it doesn't affect existing property owners. Because by the overlay, you have a person wanting to build something new would have an option of either going under the existing zoning or under this overlay ordinance. So I don't know necessarily the way it would affect an existing property owner. Am I right?
That's correct. Yeah, there is no requirement for notice, and this is an overlay zone, which means that the underlying zoning is still in place, and it just provides the option if someone wanted to utilize the benefits of this zoning for a project.
Okay. but the impact would be that a property owner would be unaware that, until confronted with it, that he may have 5 additional residential units living next door, right?
There's public hearings and the ordinance, it's adopted like any other ordinances and provided the notice like any other ordinance would be provided. Notice of any other ordinance would be provided.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Okay, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-11?
And that would be as amended.
As amended.
Would you like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Councilman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckafusco?
Yes.
Councilman Montanaro?
Yes.
And Councilman Levis?
Yes.
And what was that section that he wanted?
Well, the first one was in, A, it's gonna be 5th Avenue to 16th Avenue.
Yeah, I already made that change,
And
but what was the
B1A.
2 or 3 units.
B1A?
B1A, last sentence, all affordable housing units shall be 2 or 3 bedroom units.
And last ordinance is ordinance 2025-19, an ordinance amending and supplementing the Borough Code to add Chapter 39 entitled Affordable Housing General Program Purposes and Procedures, addressing the requirements of the Fair Housing Act and the Uniform Housing Affordability Controls regarding compliance with the municipality's affordable housing obligations. This is open for public comment if anyone would like to speak on the ordinance.
Go ahead.
Eugene Creamer, 4th Avenue. Please turn to page 16. And number 2, affirmative marketing. And it says, conducting an outreach process to affirmatively market affordable housing units in accordance with the affordable marketing plan of the Borough of Allenhurst.
Didn't hear we just changed the name of the borough last week. No, just kidding. It should say Belmar, obviously.
Yeah, thank you very much. But it's kind of interesting there. I did look up, Allenhurst, by the way, is the town just north of Asbury Park. If you're going up along the ocean, if you're going to drive, you pass it. And it's got a population of about 500 people. Actually, I think their town government is comprised of 3 people. And very streamlined form of government. However, they took a very unique, a very interesting approach to the affordable housing obligation. And they actually, like Spring Lake, bought the property and are converting it over to affordable housing. But it was a bad example to pick or even to put into here, because likewise, they do not have a zoning board of adjustment. So I found no wisdom in their ordinance whatsoever. And yes, this should be changed to the Borough of Belmar. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any comments? Okay,
Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-19 as amended?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckafusco?
Yes.
Councilman Montanaro?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
Okay, now we're on the public session. If anyone would like to speak, please step forward and remember to state your name and address.
Okay, Neil Scheck, 410 Fourth Ave. Okay, so now I know I won't ask the borough again to bury the wires, and I will start asking the state to encourage it through whatever means. But what about the cable company wires all over town that really look disgraceful? Along Route 35, there's shredded wires hanging everywhere. It looks like there was a war. And some places there's massive loops that are just to save time or money. They left this massive loop there. And some places dangling wires, redundant wires. So how can the borough do anything about that?
That's a good question. I think we have reached out to cable companies and whatnot. If I'm mistaken, tell me if I'm wrong, I don't know, again, what control we have over that. I agree with you 100%. I would love to have them take all the extra wire off, but, and I just saw one today, it looks like a spider's web, because it looks like they just cut the wires and they leave them hanging there. But again, we don't have authority to go up there and remove anything, so it has to be either the people who owned it, whether it's a cable company, it could be Verizon, it could be the JCP&L. I think what we could do is reach out to them and say we would like them to clean up their lines.
Okay, I know real estate values are not depressed right now, but if I was driving around looking for a town to move to, I would say, this town looks like crap with these wires. I would keep moving, you know? Anyway, I thank the borough and the administration for the year-round bathroom on the boardwalk. That has been a dream of many people for many years. Does anyone have any idea what hours that is open?
I don't know if we have any,
I'm pretty sure it's open from 8:30 to 6.
So that's year-round, 8:30 to 6.
Yeah. Well, hours vary in the summertime. It changes to the normal hours of operation for the other bathrooms.
so it would be longer in the summer.
Yes.
Great. Well, it's great to have a bathroom right there near Silver Lake Park, and now we have all the garbage cans, which the mayor arranged to put in around Silver Lake, a great improvement. And what we could use now would be a dog park. And I think there's plenty of open space there between the playground and where O'Brien's funeral home used to be, in that corner, for instance. Or on the other side of the playground, there's space under the trees, have some shade. To me, a dog park would have to be nothing more than a circular fence with a double gate so dogs can't escape when you open it. Doesn't have to be fancy or expensive. And what about several dog parks? There could be one over by the skate park. Wouldn't it be great to go over to the skate park with your dog, and the dog gets to play with his friends, and you get to do your skateboarding? And a skate park doesn't do much for most senior citizens. A dog park would. And if the dog park was right there by the skate park, it would be a place for people of all ages to enjoy hanging out. The seniors could watch the dogs and the skateboarders, and it would be wonderful. So, thank you for listening.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Actually, I stand corrected. The bathroom schedule is 8:30 to 4:30.
Okay. April?
Okay, can I have a motion to close the public session and adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.